chairman of CARICOM, about the performance of the Guyanese government in its vaccination program from a man, Keith Christopher Rowley, that has overseen the worst vaccination program in the entire globe, the worst COVID-19 fight on the globe. We have the highest death rate after being under state of emergency for 40 days and lockdown for 51 days of total complete lockdown. GDP gone, economy gone, people suffering. Now didnt rates going up, no gas subsidy, you wouldn't be able to drive your car. And Rowley have time to attack Diana, and Guardian have time to protect Rowley. The Express is also taking umbrage with the leader of the opposition, rather than Keith Christopher Rowley, who gets up in the parliament and fabricates and lies once again on a lady, a former prime minister's health, giving innuendo and insinuating that she had COVID-19 and lied. Rowley is a franco-ment liar. But I'm sorry, I must apologize. I wanted to deal with that this evening, 7:30 p.m., but no, we have a delay. We have a programming change, so I humbly apologize. Tomorrow night, be ready, 7:30 p.m. sharp. douglAR Politics. douglAR Politics. We don't get no kids. douglAR Politics, Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. There is a red alert, adverse PM warning for Trinidad and Tobago. We have hit level 5 red for the worst Prime Minister in history of CARICOM. Red alert, PM, adverse Prime Minister warning. douglAR Politics, Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. My goodness. Stay indoors. Be safe. The adverse warning against the Prime Minister has reached the highest level. Be safe, my people. douglAR Politics, Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m.
douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics. Listen, douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics. Listen.
On, I don't know, check. Good evening, welcome to douglAR Politics. Imagine mic off. We all must have thought Anil talking soft. You must have thought I in the Senate. Well, no, the mic was off. So we on, start again. Good evening, welcome to douglAR Politics. We start right on time. Please share the live because we have a lot to talk about tonight, and it's very important that a lot of you hear it. It's life and death. While everything has collapsed and crumbled in Trinidad and Tobago, somebody is just showing off in front of you, showing off that they have grown in the last 6 years since their brother swore in to be the guardian of Rowley's K-Pax, the Gary Sobers of his Bumsy. Look at this. While all of your businesses shut down, while you all can't get a contract, you don't know who to tender, you know procurement legislation, gutted. This is Angus Young, brother of Stuart Small Young, NCB Global Finance, a little small parlor finance company by where we just drink rum by Frankie's on the avenue. All of a sudden, since his brother swore in, this CEO of this NCB Global Finance has been able to win tender after tender after tender. UDCOT was moved from wherever it was under housing to under the office of the Prime Minister, and he won his first loan to provide the government, the taxpayers, the people of Trinidad and Tobago with $180 million loan. And from there, it was just victory after victory after victory. Yes, man. Look at there. All over the papers. Every day, so much money. It's each one of them thing is about $15,000 to place per newspaper. We seen that ad nauseum in every daily for 3 days and so on, all over the internet. Oh God, look, I actually pull it up from Facebook, YouTube. Angus Young, the greatest CEO in the history of the planet, because he moved from zero public sector work in September 6th, 2015, zero. He was CEO a whole year, zero. Here when a tender. And after his brother, Stuart Smallpen Young swear in as the Minister of Arrogance, the Minister of Smallpen, the Minister of everything, the Minister of Rowley K-Pax, the Minister of carrying Rowley bag wherever he go, the Minister of all the cabinet. This man and the company that he's the CEO of win $3.81 billion of your work. They beat out Republic, Scotia, RBC, First Citizens, JMMB, all them big banks with decades of work, of decades of track record, decades and wide balance sheet asset base. This one, he's the best thing I ever see. Do you know that I saw NCB, this merchant bank, can't keep him? Because all the greatest companies in the world are headhunting this Angus Smallpen Young because he's so brilliant. Now, private sector work did not really increase. I don't know. But the public sector work, his brother happened to be in the public sector. And that's where all of his growth took place. Now it's a merchant bank. They're moving on up like the Jeffersons. The other thing moving on up is Balize House. They point concrete after concrete. Can't build a school. Can't build a playground. Can't build a early childhood center. Can't build a soup kitchen to feed people. But they building Balize House because Pump City Rasta sell 23 ticket, raffle ticket. The only other thing going up is call member dwelling thing down in town. And I hear it up, house down the islands, all kind of thing. Well, all right. Well done. So while your business shut down, and you locked down, and you are no grant, and the Prime Minister telling all you stop being greedy and stop looking for the dollar, this one, Keith Rowley's family of Smallpen, chucking him all over his back. Yes. Them going good. Them going guns. Great is the PNM. They support these strong black people. Look at Angus. My goodness, when I look at him, I just say I want to vote race again. I want another chance to vote, and I want to vote black. Oh Lord, the suit black. I want to vote for that black man there. I want to cuss them Indian. I want to eat banana and chuck it in my ears and vote. Because all your black people can't get a laptop. You can't get medicine in the hospital. You have no hospital bed. You can't get school feeding. You can't get a pumpkin. But look, the black man, 3.81 billion. That's since last a year I ain't counting. You know. And Colm say he's going to borrow. I wonder who he borrowing from. And you don't find it funny that none of the big banks complaining. If a small fry all of a sudden come to beat big fries, and anybody who understands finance and economies of scale would know that the bigger, larger banks with large portfolios can get finance and access finance cheaper and therefore bid lower. So how this parlor start to beat out all them big banks? But shh, don't say nothing. because it have a few more billion to come, and we want to make sure we get we own. So leave them with that. This is Trinidad and Tobago. Congratulations. Our Prime Minister come into Parliament to legalize thieving, and all they're talking about the UNC thief and Kamla thief and them Indian thief. A man walk into the Parliament, would he fake Arab, Franco-meant Indian Sukaran, Johnny Sukaran, Johnny Alla tight pants, Johnny Alla one shot, Johnny and no mask, Johnny Alla donkey bray, Johnny Alla dribbling blaze hairs, Johnny Alla Sukaran going in the Parliament to legalize thieving by gutting procurement legislation and them calling other people thief. Moving right along. I read here a few articles from page 21 of The Guardian. That's when you're talking Spanish. And let me first of all say, as that fellow there, put him back up. Remember a while ago I told you when the USA was not doing so well in COVID and so on, he put up a post on a cycling WhatsApp chat to boast Maduro, his friend, sipping coffee, laughing and ridiculing the United States of America when there was a problem with the rioters in Washington. Maduro brethren, put up a picture of the oppressive drug trafficker, indicted narco-terrorist, sipping a cup of tea, laughing at the USA because he and Rowley and his brother are supporters of Maduro, an indicted narco-terrorist, drug trafficker, cocaine trafficker. But he opening merchant bank, boasting big, friends of Maduro. Well, let me read about his friend, Maduro, Rowley's friend, Maduro, small pin friend, Maduro, Daddy Small Pin Richard Young, Maduro. Let's read page 21. Martes, el 11 de mayo, 2021. PDVSA amaño más de 1.500 millones de dólares en compras con Maduro al frente. What does that mean? PDVSA fixed more than 1,500 million in purchases, 1.5 billion US in purchases with Maduro. Between 2009 and 2015, in the PDVSA led by Rafael Ramirez and Asdrubal Chavez. You all remember Asdrubal Chavez? He was on the plane with Delcy and he went to meet Rowley when his brother Small Pin brought in and gave exemption to a sanctioned PDVSA jet to come in, and Delcy and Asdrubal Chavez went face to face in COVID to meet with your Prime Minister, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Between 2009 and 2015, in the PDVSA led by Rafael Ramirez, and in which Nicolas Maduro held a place on the board of directors. Since 2011, more than $1.5 billion US was signed in bids that are already considered fraudulent. According to journalist Isabel Vega from the newspaper ABC of Spain, España, the Spanish media had access to a series of documents that reveal the mechanics with which a looting of the largest public company in Venezuela was perpetrated. Companies that are repeated among the applicants that turn out to be one and the same owner. Does that remind you of anything? Wilmer Ruperti, Paria, Rowley's next good friend, Newman George, buy gas from Trafigura PTE, which is Wilmer Ruperti, and sell it back to ES Euro Shipping, which is Wilmer Ruperti, and it end up in Venezuela, and them tell you it was for Aruba, and then it was for St. Eustatius, then Aruba, and then they sign a clause, and only Asha Javid see it. Well, I guess Elias and Gorotpa go see it now when she look up under the bed now, because Asha ain't getting that no more. Not that I care, but it's good because you want to lie on people in the newspapers. But understand that Maduro, fraud, PDVSA, gas company, National Gas Company, Friends of Rowley, Friends of Smallpin, supported by Angus Young, the big boy who boasting about his merchant bank and how brilliant he is. Let him put up how much private sector work has increased in the last 6 years, and let's see the percentage. Is it the same? Because he moved from 0 to 3.81 billion in all your taxpayers' government work. How much he increases private sector work? By the same amount? Well, boy, he should get bonus after bonus. Staying in Venezuela, Maracaibo University Hospital completely collapsed with COVID-19 patients. The number of cases that are there, patients have to carry everything from drugs to oxygen regulators. The beds in the intensive care unit are quite collapsed, he said. In Maracaibo, Venezuela, porous borders, spike here. In Trinidad, Brazilian variant, come from where? Illegal immigrant. They lie first, then they come in the Senate and forced to tell the truth. But the media don't find that's a big story. Moving right along. Venezuela, Suma, 1,368 new cases of COVID-19 day before yesterday, and another 1,579 cases yesterday. Like 3,000 cases in 48 hours in Venezuela. Right next door, where illegal immigrants coming over through porous borders without Coast Guard, no army, no radar, no army base, no police roadblock, no Pomsite Rasta, no Ethelbert again. Talk 10 days ago and do nothing. And media leave that story. But they're locking we down to suppress COVID. But COVID walking in with Kobo on Venezuela and back. Let me tell you something. Senator Leida made a very important point on the Monday Night Forum, speaking about our position here in Trinidad and Tobago, that people, illegal immigrants that are coming across and are caught, which is very few, we catching probably 2%, 3%, if so much. But then they are given a piece of paper, sign off, and put it back in the population. And when he said that that is criminal, that is dangerous, that activity, no test, no COVID-19, no recording, no method, no repatriation, no deportation, no corralling, no mechanism to hold, feed, care. Just put them in the population. Every citizen in the country said, oh my goodness, what is this? Especially in a pandemic now. But then all of a sudden, a lady called Mrs. Denise Ramdial, picture originally from Tableland. She is the head of the Caribbean Center for Human Rights. She jumped out and attacked Senator Leida, saying that he's inhumane and what he's talking about is nonsense because since 2014 they changed the asylum seekers and it's a more humane way rather than detention and deportation to assimilate them in the population. But where this lady jump out from? One, these illegal immigrants are not asylum seekers. That's not how asylum seekers work. Secondly, 2014, they didn't have no pandemic. We are in a pandemic where citizens are denied the right to come home. There have been citizens who have been trying to come home to their home country for 14 months and are outside and cannot come home. So who is this Denise Ramdial, Mrs. Ramdial, Mrs. Denise Ramdial? And then I had to do some investigation. I want to know how she come out so and attacking Damian Leida like that. So I have to ask you, Mrs. Denise Ramdial, picture of the Caribbean Human Rights Center. Do you have a problem with the Leida family that has been going on for some years? Do you have a personal issue with the Leida family that has led you to jump out yourself, attack a senator who makes a very pertinent point to protect the citizens of this country in an illogical, passionate manner? I'm asking you, Mrs. Denise Ramdial, picture. Mrs. Ramdial, Miss Ramdial from Tableland. Do you have or have you had a personal issue and problem with the Leida clan? And did you disclose that to your employers at the Caribbean Center for Human Rights? You see, you cannot play with serious life and death matters to sort out domestic problems and issues. You have to declare conflict of interest because you're talking nonsense. Senator Rowley is talking to keep our people safe. In the month of May, we have nearly 50 deaths from COVID-19, Brazilian variant. As a part of that, clearly from illegal immigrants coming in our porous borders during a pandemic. The senator, on a matter of national public interest, makes a very pertinent point. A point that not the Minister of National Security and all didn't even know what's going on. That illegal immigrants, even when caught, are just given a sign-off and put into the population. Also, Ms. Ramdial from Tableland, is it your position of the Caribbean Human Rights Center that just put in Venezuelans into the society with no address, no job, no work, no place to stay, on the streets, women, children, young people, young girls, just throw them to the wolves? Is that your position of humane treatment? So when the young girls and women go out there, people like 1-800 bullet and them could handle them? I know the Prime Minister might be glad for that, because I saw him rubbing up bullet leg, sitting down hugging him up in the house. Maybe they like Copacabana together, but any right-thinking citizen would know that throwing women out there in the road just so, without any job, without any definite place to live, without any means of survival. Miss Ramdial, picture, how you reach picture from Ramdial was from Tableland? That she? You marry a picture, you sit down in Westmoreland by way of Tableland and attack a sitting senator who is trying to protect our people without basis. And did you declare, I'm asking you, do you have a problem with the Lida family? And how long has that problem existed? And if so, did you declare that before making your emotional, nonsensical statement? All your people in this country, everything is a joke. If all you have all your thing, that all your business, that don't bring nothing serious business of the nation and national security and health and pandemic and death. How everything become a joke, so? I want to know how this Ramdial picture, how she just jump out just so. In a pandemic. Roshan Paris. 1 million must be vaccinated for herd immunity. 1 million. Man of the year. The man who didn't vociferously make his point in March that Easter should be shut down and we should be very careful that the Convent Girl and Rowley ignore his advice and all are we dead in now. He say we need 1 million to be vaccinated for herd immunity. Well, first of all, Dr. Parasham, you who said that we wouldn't have no COVID problem here in the first place. It's not 1 million because he said 1 million out of the population of 1.4 million. Dr. Roshan Paris, are you aware that there are approximately 150,000 adult illegal immigrants in Trinidad and Tobago? So you want to get herd immunity without vaccinating them? What? You didn't do mathematics in school? I don't understand. I thought you was bright. So you have to include the 150,000. You can't play games. You see, it's not funny. You can't play small pin. Oh, they're only 16,000, but they're really 150,000 when you're talking life and death and herd immunity. You see, lies upon lies lead to stupid decisions which do not solve problems. Because if you only vaccinate 1 million and you thought that 70%, But because of the 150,000 extra illegal immigrants, you're really only at 63%. You would not have achieved your goal. And when you open back up, people will die. So please, Dr. Roshan Paris, I'm already a little embarrassment to your entire profession. Please calculate properly. Call the Ministry of National Security, call Gary Griffith, because the figure was 120,000 back in 2017. That means it had to reach at least 150 to 200,000 Venezuelan migrants here. They have to get vaccinated also. They are in the herd. The herd does talk English and poquito español también ahora. So you can't just vaccinate the English and leave the Espanol. You have to vaccinate all. Make sense? And while you are the scientist and the doctor, you saying we need to vaccinate 1 million people. Today in the Senate, arrogant Dial Singh, Duncy Dial Singh, Dial Singh that no COVID, we would never get no COVID. We get COVID here is a sporadic thing. Your PCR test, forget that. Private institution, no thing. Forget he. He say 600 to 700,000 people. But you say 1 million. You say in March, don't go Easter. Come on, pat it down. Dial Singh say, Rowley, the ferry, 50,000 all you went to Tobago, cram up, jam up, dribble up in each other ears like no shirt, tight pants, Al-Rawi, following his lead. And now COVID-19 ravaging the country because they didn't listen to Parasam, but Parasam still how he walk and he still remained there. Now he's saying 1 million for herd immunity, not including the 150,000. 80% of that is what? 130,000 on average. Me doing the match right now. He include that. Venezuelans. So really 1.1 million needed for herd immunity according to he. But Convent Girl, the dunce, Convent Girl, the man who could not pass a pharmacological exam, Convent Girl, we number one, say 600,000. Who to believe? Who to trust? Where we going? What we doing? Interesting, eh? Prime Minister to take COVID-19 vaccine in October. The Prime Minister on Sunday said he could receive his first dose of World Health Organization WHO approved COVID-19 vaccine in October. Rowley made this disclosure as he dismissed a call by Orapuch East MP Dr. Rudal Munilal for him to take a shot at the Chinese Sinopharm vaccine. Super spreader in your nice Banana Republic shirt, looking like beautiful Anglo-Saxon Oreo. Perfecto. You make me feel to be a strong black man and dip my finger for the black man in that shirt and that hat. Huh? Where you get that on the golf course? Who designed that for you? Your British tailor from Northumberland? Let me ask you something, Rowley. Please show me the science that says that if you had COVID-19, you have to wait 6 months to take a vaccine. Because everything I've read has said you can take it within 19 days to 28 days. And 19 days done gone for you already, so you could take it. Where's the science? It's only Dr. Hines. Dr. Hines in the whole world who say that. If that were true, how come we cross 1 billion vaccines when 80% of people who get positive are asymptomatic? At least that means if 10% of the population was getting COVID positive and you take 1 billion vaccine, that means that 100 million people who took the vaccine had COVID-19 and were asymptomatic and did not even know it. And there was no period, there was no deleterious effects from taking the vaccine because they had COVID-19. So what is this science? Why are you jumping quite October? What happened? What happened, Bermuda shorts, Bermuda shirt? From 1 clung to 2 clung.
equal 3 clung. You see how you do mathematics, Parasam? Dukaran. Where they find he? And Dukaran on the recovery committee of the PNM. IMF can help provide COVID-19 support. So Dukaran telling the COVID-19 recovery committee of the PNM, go to the IMF at Dukaran. We must hold discussions with the IMF to access the additional support windows now available through the special drawing right for the TNT qualified for access. That's what they send you on the recovery committee to do. Tell the PNM that draining with resources, creating controversy, emergency, building the pressure, then swooping in like saviors to save the day while draining the treasury and taking out all the resources. You going to tell them to borrow more money and go to the IMF to put more prescription on we? Well done, Dukaran. I mean, it was a bore being in cabinet with you when Kamla Prasad Bisesa asked you, and she and Kamla Prasad Bisesa, I had to buff you. Because in cabinet, everybody had to be allowed to talk, and Dukaran used to get to talk first. And Dukaran has taken 45 minutes to say nothing. Cabinet meeting used to finish all 10:30, start 10 a.m., 12 hours of meeting, because Kamla Prasad Bisesa must hear from everybody. Well, I admire that. But always tell she that she don't listen, and she's a dictator, and she all kind of thing. But Rowley cabinet meetings that last 45 minutes. Sometimes it don't even last. He does make all the decision and send it for covering approval. Remember the Bridgman's crooked money? That our Rowley cabinet does work. Only 5 of them does talk. The other 18 just sit down there and hope somebody tell them good morning. PNM always sick, yes? And then we found, oh, y'all thought I forgot the maths. 1 more clung, remember? It's 1 plus 2 equals 3. So I showed you one in a funny hat there, a fedora, and another one who resurrect on the recovery committee. And now the third one. Here the third one. I feel I ain't going to tell all your name. But I'm going to say what he say. We are where we are, and no amount of criticism or opposing for the sake of opposing will help. Opposing for the sake of opposing. So we 14 months on lockdown, 54 days, no positive tests, no community spread, only 8 deaths. But yet we still have COVID ravaging here. How that happen? Porous borders much. So the UNC telling the PNM, you have left the borders porous for 6 years. You have left the borders porous for 14 months during a pandemic. While you have locked down our citizens out of the country and oppressed them and suppressed their constitutional rights, Venezuelans are coming across where COVID-19 on the South American continent is rampaging. New strains, Brazilian strains, all of that coming through porous borders. And this person says, when the opposition who had been claiming and wanting to debate COVID-19 from since January last year, who had said that the measures, the lockdown without support of the people was not making sense, that there was insufficient testing, that we had no contact tracing, that we were in the arms of incompetence, and now people are dying every day. There is a human being who says that the opposition, who has been proven to be correct on every single item, is opposing for opposing's sake. Is that really right? Or is it opposing nonsense in order to get a solution, to improve our situation? Because even here now in this lockdown, where today there were 9 deaths and 346 positive cases, this lockdown, even if it dampens the curve eventually, to what end with COVID-19 walking across into Trinidad and Tobago through porous borders? So businesses shutting down and closing down, for what? So this person, this intelligent, brilliant person continued. He was concerned that several recommendations made by the Roadmap Recovery Committee have not been implemented. So this same person who says the opposition is opposing for opposing's sake, he then come around in the third paragraph of talking and say, the recommendations of the PNM Recovery Committee have not been applied or implemented by the PNM government. So you opposing for opposing's sake too? You on the Recovery Committee, you gave recommendations, you have been ignored, you are alerting the population that the PNM has ignored their own recovery roadmap team. Are you opposing for opposing's sake? I'm not understanding. The person continued, these recommendations would have served to kickstart economic growth in the construction, manufacturing, and downstream energy sectors, would grow more food and provide greater equity of access to the most vulnerable, but they have not been implemented by the government. Roshan Paris. All you know is that oh Lord, I know what to say again, boy, Roshan Paris, boy. I don't know what to say. Roshan, in the words of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, go to hell, break.
Politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago to be hard sticks. Cut them down.
The PNM is in control. I was saying, but where the ventilator? What you tell me about all them bed? The ICU are ventilator. What about the technician and the technical people to run the ventilator? Across the globe, they were using different mechanisms to have one ventilator be used for 2 patients in New York and so on. We're talking all that. Convangele talk that. But now, we hearing that when we reach 500 bed, that we under pressure of collapse. But to me, 500 is not close to 2,000 or 3,000 bed. So, what was the truth? Furthermore, the new star girl who Rowley promoting, Village Ram, Dr. Richards, she said the addition of 110 beds has increased the number of ward level beds to 572 and the overall capacity of the parallel healthcare to 662 beds only. So what was that 2,000, 3,000 figure before the election that Convangele was talking about? Furthermore, Convangele, it is amazing that a newspaper, The Guardian, just to show all you are not lying on The Guardian. Now if all you're not fed up with this Guardian already, well, I just put in more nail in the coffin. They done had 12 nail, let me put 6 more nail in the coffin. Terence Dial Singh said in a press conference, unprovoked, that he saw some men lying on the Branara promenade. And he pulled aside and he shed a tear. He cried because he saw people breaking the protocols. Now he didn't cry when he saw his Attorney General that he sit down next to in the cabinet, wrestling with about 13 men, dribbling without mask, hugging up and braying like a donkey in a tight space in a room without ventilation. He didn't cry for that. He didn't cry when Roshan Paris told him and Rowley, there is a spike I'm seeing, we need to be responsible and take care during Easter. He didn't cry when he heard Rowley say, Tobago is the place to be. There's no more problem with the ferry. Come to Tobago. He didn't cry. He didn't cry when his Prime Minister advertised that and now people are dying. He didn't cry. He didn't cry when he lied about the testing figures and they went up miraculously by 30,000 just so. He didn't cry when he said private testing was not applicable and private testing labs was not any good and therefore you had to come to only the Ministry of Health PCR machine, and that CARFA will have to sanction the private labs. And 23 days later, he said, no, let's go by the private labs. He didn't cry when he tell people wearing a mask don't make no sense. He didn't cry when the Brazilian variant reached. And when he was asked, he said, no, that's a national security issue. Talk to Ethelbert. And then when they asked Ethelbert said, me, I know nothing about that. And then he come in the Senate under questioning of Wade Mark and had to admit he's a Venezuelan illegal immigrant. He didn't cry when he lied. He didn't cry when he lied on Answer McCall, the very owners of this newspaper who now trying to lick his K-Pax. This is why Trinidad and Tobago can't go nowhere. The same man who this Guardian trying to uphold and tell we don't laugh at him, don't laugh at CARFA, don't laugh at the Convent Guild, don't laugh at his stupidity, don't laugh at his lies, don't laugh at his incompetence, don't laugh at his nonsense about being Shah Rukh Khan and crying a tear on the promenade. The Guardian print an editorial to tell the country, don't laugh at the convent girl who have we dead in now. Guardian, you really serious? Look around the video now. Look at what we go laugh. All you laugh, all you we are no shame to put this dunce in charge of we life. We in Trinidad and Tobago need 3 bananas in we mouth same time. Go ahead, play it.
Here's a riddle for you. How many times can you drop the ball if you've never really held the ball at all? Yeah, I don't know the answer to that myself. On any given day, skimming through the news, it's easy to get the impression that the government's only true specialist skill is victimhood.
Same way I felt this morning driving into Port of Spain and taking the route next to the Brian Lara Promenade. And I wept. I really wept when I saw what was taking place at the Brian Lara Promenade this morning at 8:30. Just treat with this thing. The chances of Trinidad and Tobago having an explosion of cases of coronavirus are remote to possibly non-existent. If we do get it, it is going to be individual cases if we get it. This is worse than World War I, World War II, and 9/11 put together. And then each copy goes into another cell in your body, switches on the photocopy machine, and switch on and just prints copies. Wearing a mask by the average Trinidadian is of absolutely no use. As you can see, we are leading by example from this morning in wearing masks. You could take an old t-shirt, you can make a mask. You could do like me, take an old t-shirt, rip it, and you have a face mask. There is no specific treatment, there is no cure, there is no vaccine for COVID-19. One of the drugs that we have to use, and you will know, the drug called human globulin immune. You know, each patient that we have to put on that costs between $100,000 to $200,000 per patient.
The best place for them to be if you don't have the disease is in China. The best place for them to be is in China. The best place for them to be is in China.
Please have it.
No. The government of India made a gift to the region using Barbados as a central depository. Okay. From that, we got 2,000.
Okay, got it. What do I have to do with it? This place of it, right? I thought you wanted to read up.
We have one Venezuelan in a hospital bed. So I think it's really unfortunate where we try to link the spike in cases to Venezuelans when the facts and the evidence simply do not lead us to make that conclusion. Let us be clear. The spike in cases has more to do with the behavior of citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. It reached the point where the Blavatnik School of Government, which is a school of Oxford University, one of the top universities of the world, judged Trinidad and Tobago #1 in the world #1 in the world. We got 0.8 for testing, tracing, and isolation. 0.8 out of 1 is fabulous. We got 0.9 for community understanding, the way Dr. Rowley led us in talking to the people. But we scored a perfect 10 or a perfect 1 in this area. Management of imported cases and control. Listen to that. The way we managed how cases came into the country, how we controlled it, Trinidad and Tobago got a perfect score of 1. People on Brian Lara Promenade, I have no problem with people drinking the White Oak and Coca-Cola at that time in the morning.
What all they want me to say? What can I say? 55 deaths in 11 days. 1st of May, 2 deaths. 2nd May, 3. 3rd of May, 5 deaths. 4th of May, 6 deaths. 5th of May, 4 deaths. 6th of May, 2 deaths. 7th of May, 5 deaths. 8th of May, 7 deaths. 9th of May, 8 deaths. 10th of May, 4 deaths. 11th of May, 9 dead citizens. A total in 11 days of May, 55 Trinidadians and Tobagonians dead. But they're #1. And here what they're #1 in? Controlling the influx of COVID-19. Controlling the borders. They're #1. Many of y'all want to go back and vote again? Huh? Y'all want to go back and take a chance and choke? All of you and all of y'all who know, I know at least 6,000 that I spoke to who said that they were doing, they all believed that. I'm sorry that you all did. I tried my best to explain. I tried my best. I will have to do better, but I tried my best to explain that this is not a joke. These people, these human beings, that clung, that the Guardian is telling me by editorial, don't laugh at it. I really don't want to laugh at it. But anything else, I went up in Golden Grove. It's not even funny. But the Guardian chose to have an editorial that he is some warrior fighting on our behalf. Everything he has done has been wrong. He's a total, complete goat, an idiot. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. And he's still right now talking arrogance. Up to today in the Senate, he talking with an arrogant tone. That dunce, that clown, who got every single thing wrong in a simple exam that all you required to do is copy South Korea, copy New Zealand, copy Australia. That's all you have to do. You didn't have to come up with nothing from your own brain. You didn't have to come up with no creative idea. All you had to do was copy countries on the eastern end of the globe and do what they did. This complete dunce come to tell me about he see people lying on promenade and a tear come to your eye A tear didn't come to your eye when all the citizens were locked out by you and your stupid government for no reason. A tear didn't come to your eye with 55 dead people because all you say, come to Tobago and party when Paris and tell all you, danger, danger, danger. A tear didn't come to your eye when you lie and say it was you, no Venezuelan, and you're blaming Venezuelan and one Venezuelan in the hospital, when the whole science of COVID-19 says 80% of people will be asymptomatic. Another 15% will get mild symptoms, and only 5%. So the real spreading occurs with those who don't even know they have it. From a country, a continent where other countries are putting on lock and not letting nobody come. Panama not letting nobody come from South America. But Brazil touches Venezuela. Venezuelans walking in here. And you said we get 100% perfect marks for keeping COVID out. So where the flipping COVID come from, convent girl? Where it come from? Kobo drop it on we head? You didn't shed a tear for that. And then in the Senate today, come with the same arrogance, you know. 55 people dead in 11 days. And this clown, this dunce, this idiot who all you make a minister of health, you know. A minister of health. The leader of the most intelligent profession globally. When you take the brain matter of global doctors, surgeons, misters, and so on, among the highest. Yes, you have astronauts and so on, and nautical and engineers and nuclear physicists and so on, yes, but those are not in such high quantities. Every country on the globe has doctors, surgeon, neurosurgeon, cardiac, thoracic surgeon. That's the intellectual capacity, brilliance. Trinidad and Tobago has some of the most brilliant medical minds. And that is the dunce that we choose to lead us. And then all you feel, you wouldn't think that he, after making and bungling every single thing, and watching over the death of citizens, that he will get some humility. Run it, Archie. Run this.
Is about getting 60 to 70% of our adult population vaccinated. That means about 600 to 700,000 persons. A cabinet decision, I took a note to cabinet to do just that. There are three variables, however. Variable number one, availability of vaccines, which we must have in commercial quantities, large quantities, which we are currently working on to good effect. Two, public confidence in the vaccines. And three, we need to get the UNC to stop undermining the government's vaccination plan. That is the most...
We need to get the UNC to stop undermining the government's vaccination plan, the government's vaccination program. What is the government's vaccination program? Stick in the blocks and leave us dead last in CARICOM, dead last in the world, and wait till some deal that all you signed long ago to come to fruition? What is the government's vaccination plan? We are dead last in CARICOM, Grenada, Barbados, Antigua, St. Kitts, Anguilla, Jamaica, Turks and Caicos, Virgin Islands, Dominica, even St. Vincent with volcano ahead of we in vaccination. What exactly is the vaccination program of the PNM? Is it what, Grey's Anatomy? The Voice? Does it have the programming ratings of the Champions League final? Or is the program just like the TTT? 3 viewers. What is the program? And what is the undermining? And what do you call when you, convent girl, 2 or 3 months ago, get available 351,000 doses of Pfizer vaccine. Call Ansa McCall and other businesses and ask them to pay for it quickly so we can get it, because time and speed is of the essence. And then somebody tell you, we're not going with that. We don't want that. And you create a whole hullabaloo and call Ansa McCall lie, and Sabga come and say you lie, but now all you done licking each other K-Packs, and Trinidad and Tobago must be suffering. You said there with an arrogant tone that we need vaccine in a commercial extent. You now figure out that in May, with 55 deaths in May, since December 2019, the world knew that vaccination was going to be the way out, that vaccines would form the basis of global economic aggregate demand and development and return to normal. Since December 2019, we in May 2021, and you now realizing that we need vaccine in such large amounts. But then you go in the Senate and you put on record that we need 600,000 to 700,000. You are the Minister of Health. The CMO just the day before, you didn't even read the papers before the Senate this morning. Because if you read the papers this morning, you dunce, you would have seen that your CMO, Roshan Paris, said we need 1 million adults, 1 million people to be vaccinated. But you going in the Senate 8 hours after papers hit the streets and talking nonsense about 600,000 to 700,000. And then the Guardian don't want me to laugh at your stupidity. We can't even laugh because it's too critical to laugh. And while all you're laughing, my people, my black brothers who voted for the black government, while the black government could have arm wrestling match with 13 men in a room with no mask, no social separation, and man breathing on each other, and one man can't even see that the next man flexing right in his face. While all of that going on, nobody ain't get no ticket, no fine, no nothing. A prime minister could call everybody to go to Tobago and be irresponsible without nothing. People picking up something and pelt it away, no mask, no nothing. Let me read for you all. My black brothers who vote for that great black leader called Rowley, who's wear Anglo-Saxon Bermuda shirt and go on the golf course to play and meet with all the youths and the group, the young black youths there on the golf course, and go in Goodwood Park and line with the brethren them, the youths and them, all my black children, and then up in Goodwood Park, you know, they'd just be chilling on the block with the vest and the jeans and thing up in Goodwood Park. That's where he goes to me with the black people, because he played race card and you all voted for that. Well, let me read something for you all. Tuesday, May 11, 2021, page 7 of The Guardian. 5 men, first in the country to be jailed for COVID breach. To be jailed for COVID breach. We have about 12 pictures of Faris a la Sukaran, a la tight pants, a la flex in front of all man, a la no mask, a la no separation, a la bray like a donkey, a la hug up, a la dribble in man mouth. We have all of that. Here he didn't get a fine, a ticket, nothing. Andrew Gabriel hosts his daughter wedding with 200 to 240 guests. Not a picture, not a mask, not a jail, not a nothing. They had pick up something and pelt it way, advertised by Rowley, watch it there, Bumsy all, no mask on Bumsy, nothing, Bumsy on head, Bumsy on neck, Bumsy on face, no mask on the Bumsy reverse. That is what Rowley encouraged in Tobago. No jail, no ticket. 5 men from Sangre Grande have become the first persons in Trinidad and Tobago to be jailed for breaching COVID-19 public health regulations. The men, who were among a group of 9 who were charged with gathering in a group of more than 5 in breach of the regulations, were sentenced to between 7 and 14 days in jail. Gerard Thomas. That is a real white boy name, boy. That is an Indian name, boy. Gerard Thomas. And so while them could do what they want, and them in St. Clair could have wedding 240 people, Gerard Thomas, that is not a black man name. No, man. That is Indian. Why Anil talking race? Because all your vote race and have this bag of dunce in charge of we and 55 people dead in 11 days. So let we keep voting race. But Gerard Thomas, that sound like a Chinese name. Huh? That sound like Yong Ping. Huh? That's Sukaran. What name is that? Michael Monroe. That sound like another Indian. Since we vote in race, lock up for COVID-19 breach. We always saw a picture of Imbat walking without mask. Imbat make a jail. Imbat get ticket. Black man going to jail for no mask. And for gathering more than 5. 9, you know. 9 is more than 5. But 240 is not more than 5 or 10 or 20 in a wedding of Andrew Gabriel, Rowley brethren. Andrew Gabriel make no jail. The ministers who was inside the wedding didn't make no jail. But 5 are all here gone in jail for 14 days. Great is the PNM. They love black people. Look, another thing. Watch this here. Police harassing a man because he had the mask on his chin. 3 police buffing one little old man because the mask not covering his nose. When Rowley was in Tobago and all of his subordinates had on the mask properly, the day after he buff we and tell we the mask is not a chin strap, Rowley in public viewing with media taking picture after having tested positive as the only sitting parliamentary representative to test positive. Look at it there. No police. It has special branch all around. It has police all around to keep him safe. Any police tell that clown the mask is not a chin strap. Look at the one fool. And all of them afraid that none of them, Jack, the Secretary of Finance, the woman PNM leader from Tobago, Davidson Celestine, she could only buy rope for 2.5 million, but she can't tell boss, pull up your mask, you're looking like a. Pull up your mask, you're looking like a. You can't tell that. Bust throat. One fool. But look at this. 3 police telling our old man they're not wearing the mask properly. And man gone in jail. 30 million salary relief. 30 million salary relief. Call me, but comes for you, the people. For 20,000 people. Him but come and tell all you for 20,000 people in May who may have lost their jobs due to this lockdown, that he is going to give you $1,000 or $1,500. That's going to come up to 30 million. For 20,000 people. Faris getting 23 million in rent and 38 million in outfitting for your building. A total of 61 million for one tight pants, no mask wearing, donkey brain, one shot wearing, clown. One man, 61 million. We showed you small pin brother, company CEO of NCB Global that go in Merchant Bank. 3.81 billion in work for he. For one man. But them come to tell you 20,000 all year, share up 30 million. 20,000 people of your own money, you know. And then here the Guardian. Government gives 30 million to citizens to deal with latest COVID effects. Government gives. You cannot give what is not yours. Guardian, what nonsense are you printing? Government gives. The money is not the government own, it belongs to the people. Furthermore, we should just kneel down and say, oh God, thank you, government, for giving us. Them could give what don't belong to them. You cannot give someone what does not belong to them. Guardian should be allocates. And then the guardian, shouldn't you question the allocation? 30 million TT for 20,000 human beings. And just down here, quietly, see how the media is. All you know, Tobago records a third COVID-19 death, plus they had 28 cases and rising and so on. They're trying to present and prevent the truth from coming out that the COVID-19 spike and all the deaths that are going on is a direct result of the fracas and wildness that went on in Tobago on the invitation of Keith Christopher Rowley, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. But science don't lie. I was here on douglAR Politics and I tell all you from early, look, 14 days, what will happen? I didn't think it would be this bad because I forgot about the porous borders at the time in calculation. So you had that spread, community spread, plus more coming in every day, plus Brazilian variant. And if you see the movie The Perfect Storm, when 3 storms collided, that's what's taking place in Trinidad and Tobago now. But it's really 4 perfect storms. They always say that God is a Trini because we have no natural disaster. We are the PNM. That worse than volcano, that worse than earthquake, and that worse than every hurricane that hit the Caribbean. Many still clamoring, while the Guardian trying to big up the PNM and say, oh gosh, yes, great job. People getting some relief. Look the article, the Guardian editorial, relief for those most in need. The 30 million allocated to ease hardship as the coronavirus takes another deadly turn across the country will provide a grant of $1,500 for those who lost their jobs at the start of the month and $1,000 for those who lost their jobs in the last few days as new restrictions took effect. It is estimated that some 20,000 workers will benefit from this, says the Guardian, trying to prop up an incompetent, heartless government. But let me ask you all something. If you all were listening to douglAR Politics on Friday, didn't I tell you that we have no statistics? And when you have a PNM Central Bank governor who tell you that 2,700 people lost their job in all of 2020, can I ask you all this? If 2,700 people only in 2020 lost their job, how come Imbot said last year for 2020 the relief grants, 92,000 people got it who lost their jobs? You see? If Imbot said 92,000 citizens received their salary relief grant, and one of the qualifying factors was that you lost your job during COVID-19 and you had to fill out all of them forms like you're writing a storybook, how come the central bank told you in an economic bulletin report that 2,700 people lost their jobs? Remember, I laughed at it and told you the mere fact that a central bank governor would print that nonsense on anything but toilet paper as you are about to use it had to be madness. Let me ask you this way. If in this month with the lockdown, 20,000 people would have lost their jobs either at the beginning of the month or the last few days of the lockdown, how come only 2,700 people lost their jobs in the whole of the COVID from March to December 2020? You see what kind of ridiculous, dotish country we are in where anything could pass as information and the media just print that and have nothing to say. But many still clamoring for last year's salary relief grant. For 3 months, people still get it. But they're coming to say now, oh, hey, we're coming to give all you something. And finally, how much 1,500 TT could really do? All you're getting on like like it's some charity. Like we should bow down and say, oh God, thank you, oh Father calm, oh Dwen of Dwens, you have given me the life-saving nectar. $1,500 for a month? What is that exactly going to pay? My big son just paid my cable bill for the Monday, $768 for cable. How much food for a family of four, $1,500 going to buy? For how long? To do what? How much is rent? Them renting out across the country, $1,500 for one room. What is $1,500? And they're talking about it as if they are some bastions of heart and soul, and they're crying for you. And then Rowley, I don't know if we had that video, you know, all you had that video with Rowley trying to talk about the USA. And the US, what them give, and the US so rich and them could print money. If anybody's watched CNN, Fox News, you have it, you will know that the USA, since under Trump in the pandemic, them went and give out 1.6 trillion US. Them was printing check. Over 180 million people Trump print out check, and people getting check back all over the place. They went back and did it again. So far, they have given out about $4 trillion, $3.2 trillion. They did it 3 times. All you had the video? Run the video, all you feel, and they lie.
I know there are voices who would be telling you this is the worst place and the worst thing and the worst government. But you know, the richest country in the world is America. They print their own money. The US dollars, the forex that we're fighting for, the US dollars we work for, they print that. They have a press that runs non-stop just printing it. It is only last week that that government, the richest government in the world, passed a bill in their parliament to produce and give to its people the kind of support that we gave you in March of last year. March of last year.
We going to take them laptops that Indian government giving your children, your picky-head Afro children, bald-head, dog-head children. We going to take them laptops from you, and we not giving you no laptops. We are number 1 in COVID, and not me, you all tell me 2 drunk Oxford students say we are number 1, and them tell me I must eat banana. Vote for me. I am going to give small pin, he father pin, the other brother pin, $4 billion, and y'all will share 1,500 between 4 of y'all and be liking it. I will not build a school for all you to get bright. I will fix golf course and forget all your children with textbook, close down UTT, shut down MIC, shut down NESC, and mash up the whole country education system. But I will be in charge. I will have an attorney general who will lose 31K straight, wear the tightest shirt and the tightest pants, go in a room with 13 men without mask, make laws to jumby you. But then I celebrate him and rent his building for 61 million outfit and rent, and you will suffer and get hungry when you lost your work. What do you want me to say? What all your my people in China, what all you want me to say? Again, things so hard. Man thief a bull, yes? No, not Rowley and Bullet. No. The thief a bull, a real bull. No, not Paris in the room of the 13 men. No. Oh, let's stop that now, man. A real bull. No. Where the bull? They don't even have the picture. Robbers butchered a farmer's prized bull and escaped with meat valued at $10,000 last Friday night. No, this is serious thing, eh? That's where the country reached. Farmer prayed their last knee. Man so hungry, man thieving people, cow killing the cow and cutting it up. And you're laughing. while they celebrating and recusing. Recusal twins, 92-time conflict of interest across the board. Big pharma deals come in. Cascade and St. Anne's cry out for water. Cascade and St. Anne's, you know, the constituency where Rowley live and Small Pin is the MP. Their incomes may vary widely, but there's one thing residents of St. Anne's, Cascade, Mount Hololo, and Lady Chancellor Hill have in common: a chronic shortage of water, and the supply appears to have grown worse in recent months and years. Grown worse. And Small Pin is the Member of Parliament. We will ensure that them Indian had all your 74%, all you're getting water 24/7. We will make sure that drop from 74% down to 20%, all you will suffer for water. I'm coming back to deal with the Sinopharm now. I'm going to bring it down. All you want to talk vaccine? We're going to talk vaccine. Share the live, please. Share the live, please. Very important discussion. Vaccine, Chinese, other vaccine, all vaccine, vaccine. Vaccine that stick, vaccine that is stick. Cold vaccine, warm vaccine, vaccine. The only vaccine we are dealing with is Rowley and Bullet. Them could do their own thing. Me and that. We coming back.
Mr. Baslio Pandy, Austin Jacona, Ansel Roger, Winston Dukaran, Ramona Ramdial, David Abdullah. Nevertheless, never lie.
Allowed to have men like Dukaran. I had to listen to Carolyn Sipasad. Don't answer she phone, fire she driver, reach late 108 out of 110 times, Sipasad Bechan. But she allowed everybody to voice his or her opinion. PNM, that don't happen. So for the media to celebrate that a former UNC MP and 2 MPs are stating that the Sinopharm vaccine, they believe that it will add to the overall herd immunity, while Rudal Munilal and other MPs and other UNC members are questioning the procurement, the efficacy, the delay, the design, the machinations, the co-mingling of vaccines with other contracts and loans. Those are valid concerns. So let's analyze them all very carefully. So for the media to be trying to create couture, so to speak, to say UNC say this and UNC against UNC. UNC will always debate, because debate brings about better decisions. Debate, different ideas coming, not from a PNM monolith where one clown with an ugly shirt tells you what to do and everybody sit down. Yes. They couldn't even tell the clown to pull up his mask. That's what fear brings. Fear coupled with stupidity leads to the morass that we are in, the COVID chaos. So in the United National Congress, all intelligent people are allowed to voice their opinion without fear of being downgraded, fired, or removed. And that is Kamla Prasad Bisesa's style. So don't get frightened. Suraj Ratan Rambachan is entitled to his opinion, just like Rudal Munilal. Lakram Bodo and Dr. Rai Ragbi are entitled to their opinion, just like Anita Haynes, Barry Padarat, Anil Roberts, Senator Wade Mark, Damian Lida, Jayanti Lakshmidial, downstairs, Saddam Hussein is entitled to his opinion. All of us are entitled to our opinions. All of us are quite intelligent. All of us have earned the respect and studied hard. We ain't going and lick K-Pax to become a minister and we's a dunce. No. So please. And for the media to be trying to promote the PNM stifling of ideas as the way to go is rather sad. Because in this country, we are already suffering from brain drain. And it seemed that all the brain drain out of the PNM first. and they happen to be in charge, fueled by a media that upholds that sort of nonsense. So, let's move on. Then we have newspapers. Now to the newspapers. Your job is to give us facts. I'm going to try to take the journalistic mode right now. The first portion of the show, emotion, politician, politics, information, driving, passion. Now, let's do it kind of forensically, because the newspapers have shirked their responsibility. The Express, like, boy, you must be hurting you since October to try and be fair and balanced. You want to go back to the Asha Javid way, just to attack Rudal Munilal on an editorial with such emotion, when he asks some serious questions that are pertinent to the population. We're dealing with death, we're dealing with lives, we're dealing with medicine, we're dealing with complicated issues, and we need to get information into the minds, hearts, and souls of the population so they can make decisions based on fact. So when a newspaper decides to play pure politics and emotion and take the convert girl approach about Munilal is fear-mongering and that is disgusting and he must be patriotic and move to get back, hold up, Express guy, not your work. Your work is to listen to an opposition member or listen to a government member, hear what they are saying, fact check, print the facts, and debunk based on facts who is right, who is wrong, what is the truth, and present that information to the population. Well, again, this dramatic emotional thing from. For example, the Express big question today in a newspaper, 79,000 daily papers, that's just hard copy. Me ain't talking no internet, no website, no electronic thing, and no share. 79,000 daily newspapers. Here the big question. Do you think the opposition is attempting to disrupt Trinidad and Tobago's COVID-19 vaccination program? The question in itself is disgusting. Do you understand, Express, by even suggesting and asking that? Is the opposition attempting to disrupt? That is seditious. Anyone who would think to do that is unpatriotic, is bordering on treasonous to disrupt a vaccination program. A vaccination program that everyone understands and has understood is the way out of a pandemic, is the way to save lives. So you are suggesting, as a serious daily newspaper, that opposition members like myself, that we want people dead. That is so ludicrous, disheartening, disingenuous, dishonest, and disgraceful, the fact that you'll print that. But that's what we have. That's what we have in this country. Furthermore, what program? The PNM has failed dramatically. We are last in the world in any vaccination, whatever. We can't even call it a program because we are so far behind. A program would be something that is ongoing across. USA is on a program. Trump started them, Biden come in, they hit 100 million, they hit 200 million, right now they're 240 million, them on a program. July 4th, herd immunity, USA, program. We on a nothing. So, what are you talking about? Furthermore, has the PNM failed to provide the population with vaccinations and doses? Have they failed to procure from the CARICOM 500,000? Did they fail to procure from India? Did they fail to get the 351,000 available Pfizer vaccines? Did they fail to get the 100,000 COVAX vaccines that should have been here since February? Yes, 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 yes. Those are facts. So for you to come to play abject, total, disgusting politics and show your hand, to suggest, imply, or through innuendo, to make the population think for a moment as Convent Girl is saying in the Senate, that the members of the opposition under Kamala Persad-Bissessar want to do anything to humbug vaccination of Trinidad and Tobago. If Kamala Persad-Bissessar was the Prime Minister Express, the country would have been fully vaccinated by next month. Vaccines would have been sourced from the Serum Institute early o'clock. If CARICOM got 500,000, Kamala Persad-Bissessar would have gotten 500,000 for Trinidad and Tobago alone. The COVAX facility, well, if that is how they run it, we would have gotten the 60,000. So that would have been 560,000. Plus the 2,000 from Barbados, 562,000, plus the 351,000, whether I don't think she would have required Ansa McCall to get money for her government to pay for vaccines for her people, but even if she needed quick cash, she would have gotten that money from Ansa McCall or whoever else and gotten that 351,000. That would have been, how much we reached? 900,000 vaccine doses already. Negotiations would have already been done, and the private sector, supermarkets, businesses would have been given permission, and Samakal would have been given permission to vaccinate their 8,000 people, therefore taking off some of the burden off of the government. They would not have kept it like our own ball, like it's our ball and it's our way or the highway. Kamala Persad-Bissessar would have utilized everybody's ability, and therefore by next month we would have reached herd immunity, including all that would have been necessary. Furthermore, Kamala Persad-Bissessar would not have had to vaccinate 150,000 illegal immigrants because they would not have been here. Because the dome that she would have created of security, the iron dome of security around Trinidad and Tobago, with functioning gassed up, dieseled up Coast Guard, radar, helicopter, air guard, army base, army vehicles, police, roadblocks, immigration officers, custom officers, would not have allowed 150,000 immigrants who now have to be vaccinated. So be very careful what you're trying to promote, express. If Kamala Persad-Bissessar was Prime Minister, we would be in planning for our carnival next year. Restaurants would be open, concerts would be open, movie theaters would be open, business would be running, we would be booming. So be very careful about the innuendo and the words that you're suggesting. Because how dare you suggest that me, UNC, my colleagues in the Parliament, the National Executive, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the senators, the constituency groups, the supporters of the UNC, want to what? Thwart, stymie, or curtail the PNM's failed vaccination program. To what end? To hurt our citizens? Are you taking the Stuart Smallpin Young approach, that the UNC paid criminals to randomly and sporadically kill and assassinate innocent citizens? Is that the nonsense that you are trying to push down people's throat? What abject crap. Furthermore, where's the education program of the government about vaccines? Where is it? Where are the advertisements? Where are it on TV? Where is it on social media? Where are the pamphlets? Where are the pamphlets in everybody's mailbox? Where is it on online school for the children? Where is the science? Where is the information teaching people about the efficacy and the importance of vaccination and the safety, debunking all the myths? I am not an anti-vaxxer. I have friends, I listen to people who are anti-vaxxers because I want to know all the information. But I am definitely not one. I have these scars on my arm to prove it from 1969 when I get big injection like all of we get. Me, I no problem with all of my children, all three fully vaccinated. We take, even before COVID, we take flu shot from our doctor. So I'm not an anti-vaxxer. But where's the information? Where's the pamphlet, the education program from the PNM Ministry of Health to tell the population this is the vaccine, this is a myth, this is true, this is what you have to do, this is what it does, this is how it works, this is the different ones, these are the different types. Where's the information? Non-existent. Now, let us be very clear. The Chinese vaccine, there's been great debate over the Sinopharm vaccine. There's information coming out from all over. You have to vet it and you have to check it. But when you overall check it, you will have to determine what you want or how you see your people. If your philosophy is that the PNM has failed so poorly that we are dead last, we are behind the entire world, and that any vaccine is better than none, then okay. That's a valid point. That's valid. That any vaccine, including the Chinese vaccine, is better than no vaccine. I know many anti-vaxxers will get angry, but I'm just saying on the science that I've read, okay? So if that is your position, that Trinidad and Tobago, a country with a budget of $60 billion, Trinidad and Tobago, with a country of brains, we have surgeons doing all sorts of groundbreaking surgery. We have men who went Duke University and NASA wanted to employ them. That's how bright our people are. We have people creating apps that make billions of US. Our intellectual capital and capacity is tremendous. Our resources, oil, gas, and so on, before the PNM collapse, everything is tremendous for a population of 1.39 legitimate citizens and 150,000 illegal immigrants. If you and your belief of us and our people is that we are developing world, we are poor country, we is dregs, and we will take what we get, then yes, Sinopharm Chinese vaccine is better than nothing. Correct. If that's your position, that's your position. I am a coach. I had many offers to go and coach all over the globe since 1995, 1996. All universities, Division I in the States, national teams in Europe and so on. I decided to stay here because I love my country and I think we had the talent and we could be the best. We could win Olympic medals. We could win World Championship medals, Pan Am medals, Commonwealth medals, break world records right here. That's my belief. So I believe in my people. Therefore, I believe my people are equal to people in Germany, UK, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, wherever. I believe that my Trini citizens, my Tobagonian citizens are equal. Now, if I believe that, then in something so critical as vaccines, and there are many vaccines out there, I want what's best for my people. Not what's available. Not what is left. I want what is best for my people. Following me? So let's analyze and compare. Be very careful for those who don't understand. Many of us in this world, especially in the Commonwealth, enjoy freedom because of somebody named Mahatma Gandhi. India got its independence and trickled through South Africa and across the board. Many people learned from Gandhi that we could be independent and we could break free of the chains of colonialism which were linked to slavery. Why was Gandhi able, or what was the spark that inspired Gandhi to fight to free India and free the world by extension? Gandhi was a lawyer, studied in London, the best. He was traveling on a train in South Africa as an attorney. He had purchased, his law firm had purchased his first class ticket. He was in the first class section. And the racist regime and the racists in South Africa would not and could not and would not allow, and it was illegal for a Kafir is all of us, Indian, African, all black Kafirs at that time, to sit in first class. Gandhi, when approached by big, strong, white, Boer, European, white man, strong with gun and baton, to throw him out and tell him go back with the rest of the Kafirs in third class. He refused. The train was going the same place. Train was going the same place. If he went in third class, he would have reached his destination calmly, and all of we might have still be in colonial bondage. He decided to stand firm and stay, that he has his ticket, he purchased his ticket, and he had every right to stay in first class. Well, they pelt the Indian tail off the train. And that's where we got Mahatma Gandhi. That was the beginning. The train was going the same place. Vaccination going the same place. Herd immunity. We could just sit down and say, well, hey, bring third class. What's the big deal? But what about if we find we should get first class? What about if we feel that we are equal to developed country people? We are the same human beings and we deserve first class. Is that bad of me to think? Am I unpatriotic to think that my people deserve first class? Do I deserve to be attacked by the Express because I want my people to be first class? Soak that in. There are problems. Let me tell you now, just to let you all know as we talk in that first class, okay? I have a list here of the countries, because the Sinopharm vaccine has gotten emergency approval from the WHO. 45 countries. Let's see some of the countries that I would like to follow, because I believe my Trinidad and Tobago is A class, top class. There's no country better than Trinidad and Tobago. That's my belief. If all you want to cost me, well, cost me. If you want me to be like Convangel and them and accept anything and do anything, all right, that's your choice, but not me. Australia. Right now, Australia booming. Domestic economy mashing up. Restaurant, nightclub, concert, dinner, anything. They have utilized Pfizer and AstraZeneca. Canada. A lot of our citizens are in Canada. A lot of Trinis out there. And Canada is a brilliant, beautiful country. We even have a lot of our taxpayer money from the first PNM O'Halloran out there too in buildings. Canada, Pfizer and AstraZeneca. France, le bouger, Bosco, you want to eat the baguette. Pfizer, AstraZeneca and Moderna. Israel, unfortunately, may God be with Israel and Palestine right now, bacchanal over there. But Israel, who led the way in vaccination programs, Pfizer. New Zealand, pure bubble, no rate, brilliant, best prime minister, great, amazing, great service, buses move on time, clean, sporting activities, environment, energy, great. New Zealand, Pfizer. And New Zealand is very close to China, by the way, very close. So if you know, they could get the Sinopharm very easily. Singapore, we want to be like Singapore. We not, because Singapore don't have PNM. But Singapore, Pfizer and Moderna. South Korea, who handled it, COVID-19, that's all we should have done. All Convangel had to do was look at South Korea, study, research, and do that here, and we'd be good. South Korea, Pfizer and AstraZeneca. United Kingdom, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Moderna. The US, Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. Based on that, and my belief that my Trinidad and Tobago is as good and equal as US, Canada, New Zealand, Singapore, Australia, Germany, and those countries, I want that. Why I can't get that? Because my government is incompetent? Thought we were number one. So because of their incompetence, don't fire them. Give my people and cost my people and give we something that bronze medal, 4th place. Don't give we gold and silver. Give we 4th. Yes, 4th is better than last. Yes, I give you that. 4th is better than last. True. Call member said, further questions now expressed rather than getting emotional. Call member the Minister of Finance, the didnt, just came out and said, I withdraw the didnt because I'm going without emotion, right? So I withdraw that. Call member the Honorable Minister of Finance said, Sinopharm got the same exact WHO approval as the others, e.g. Pfizer and AstraZeneca. Okay. True. Emergency approval from WHO. Now the WHO is not the bastion of anything. Many countries do their own, those developed countries that have their own agencies that can investigate, analyze, and try. So, but let's go, that Trinidad and Tobago says WHO, okay. So that's true. But here the issue now expressed, and those others who want to create couture. Timing is very critical in vaccination programs. It's a race to herd immunity. Those USA done clock in July 4th, herd immunity with a 333 million population. Israel done gone, Seychelles gone, this one, Australia reaching 70%, Canada reaching 52%, going down the road racing. We at about 3%. But timing is very important. So when the Honorable Minister of Finance says that Sinopharm, the Chinese vaccine, has now gotten the same approval as Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and others, here's the problem. They got it 3 months later. And 3 months in a vaccination program is critical. In the last 3 months, in the last 11 days, we've lost 55 people. We've had 55 people die. So by waiting that 3 months for a vaccine that we just learned from the Honorable Minister of Finance that had been signed off on a loan over nearly a year ago, 170 million euro loan, 205 million US dollar loan with China, which involves 15% of that dealing with Chinese vaccines, that we must buy Chinese vaccines. The delay because of that negotiation and that signing of that conditionality of the loan cost lives. Waiting for that WHO approval, that 3 months, that 90 days has set back our vaccination program to dead last. That is dangerous. That is irresponsible. That is poor management. That is poor decision making. Further point, the very Ministry of Health of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago got access to 351,000 Pfizer vaccinations. Canada, USA, France, New Zealand, Singapore, that's my people. But due to the contract being signed from before with Sinopharm and Keith Rowley putting all his eggs in the Chinese basket and waiting for WHO approval, that 351,000 doses was left to go by the wayside. Those 351,000 doses were there for us. The gold medal, along with the developed world. The PNM has a plan that was Vision 2020, develop country status. Rowley take the plan, dust it off and add on a tree and put Vision 2030, develop country status. But now you are telling me that in the PNM's vaccination plan, we is take what we get? It is better than nothing. Sure. Better than zero. Correct. What if the Sinopharm never got WHO approval? Our government had already signed contract loan and taken the money for other things, but 15% of that they done committed. Suppose the WHO never got it, what would happen to us? How long would we have waited? What would have been the danger to us? So who is sabotaging the vaccination program of the people of Trinidad and Tobago? These are questions, media, you should be asking. Because these are the questions Dr. Munilal is asking. These are very valid, pertinent, factual questions. What about the procurement and the link to the Sinopharm and the procurement legislation that Keith Christopher Rowley and the PNM went in the Parliament and gutted the legislation to remove government to government from out of the legislation and medical supplies? And they did that with the full knowledge that the Minister of Finance and the Cabinet had signed a government-to-government contract for a loan for 170 million euros, 205 million US. They had signed that already involving medical supplies, vaccines. So they came to the Parliament with amendments, with prior knowledge that they had already done their act. And these questions that you want to ask members of the media, isn't the procurement process, this procurement process linked to the gutting of the procurement legislation? Isn't that important? Moving right along. The average cost of the Pfizer, the AstraZeneca, the Moderna, and the Johnson & Johnson, 15 to 23 US per dose. Do you know what's the average cost? Express, Guardian, those newspapers who are trying to criticize Dr. Rudal Munilal and the UNC and saying that we want to what? Thwart the government's vaccination program. You know what's the cost of the Sinopharm? 72 US per dose. But Hungary got it, they got it half price at 36. So let's go the half price. 36 US per dose. That's 16 to 21 US above Pfizer, with an 18% lower efficacy ratio. So on pure economics and money, since money is tight, since you all say we have no money, why are we buying the more expensive vaccine that is lower rated? So we are paying more for something that the developed world is not using. But the vaccines that the developed world is using is 15 US less per dose. Isn't that an interesting topic that the media should investigate when determining vaccine program? Or is it just, we need vaccine, we desperate, we dying, just like what the PNM did with the sea bridge, crash the sea bridge, create pressure, let it peak, drain the resources, empty the treasury. So now with vaccine, deading all over, panic coming in, drain the treasury, come with a fake solution, and all your money gone. 1.5 million doses at 15 US more expensive than Pfizer. How we work out that? AstraZeneca approved in 102 countries, 25 trials and 15 countries. Quite good. Sputnik, the Russian V, Sputnik V, 66 countries. Pfizer, approved in 85 countries. There were 18 trials in 12 countries. Sinopharm, approved in 41 countries, 6 trials in 7 countries. Johnson & Johnson, 41 countries, just like Sinopharm, 8 trials in 17 countries, 10 more countries. Moderna, 46 countries, 17 trials in 3 countries. So we were number 1 in COVID-19 before the election. We were number 1. We're number 1. We're number 1. But now y'all are telling me in our vaccination program, the vision and the mission is take what we get. Because we can't get the better stuff. So we can't get the gold medalists. We can't get the silver medalists. We can't get the bronze medalists. So take 4th place. Because 4th place is better than last. Okay. If that is your principle, if that is your theory, well, so be it. Run the video.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago has begun talks with China on possibly acquiring COVID-19 vaccines from that country. Speaking on TDT's Now Morning Show on Wednesday, Minister of Health Terence Diao Singh said the Ministry of Health has been in bilateral talks with countries and manufacturers about COVID-19 vaccines since October 1st, 2020.
Countries that were willing to speak to us at that time would have been China. They were speaking to us, and different manufacturers. I myself spoke at that time to Sinopharm, so I can tell you that with a degree of certainty.
Sinopharm is China's largest vaccine developer.
Which vaccines is China offering? Is it Sinovac, whose CEO was once found to be bribing China's drug regulator for approvals? Or is it Sinopharm, which was once called the most unsafe vaccine, one of the most unsafe, with 73 side effects by none other than a Chinese doctor? All I'm saying is that offering incentives in return for taking a vaccine may be a smart move, but when the vaccine is made in China, the same China which does not share any data whatsoever with the world, questions are bound to arise.
The second frontrunner Chinese vaccine is Sinopharm, developed by the Chinese state-owned company Sinopharm. It has 2 different types. Both work in a similar way to Sinovac. In India, the vaccine would cost at least 5,650 Indian rupees per dose. But even ahead of these results, the vaccine was distributed to nearly 1 million people in China. There's no data to show that it worked. But in January this year, Tao Lina, a Chinese vaccine expert working at the Shanghai Center for Disease Control and Prevention, claimed that there were 73 adverse reactions associated with Sinopharm. High blood pressure, delayed menstruation, urinary incontinence, loss of taste, and loss of vision, to name a few. Naturally, Tao Lina's Weibo account was deleted. The allegations buried under the carpet. In Peru, a volunteer who took the Sinopharm developed neurological problems. This case was enough for Peru's government to halt all vaccine trials. China is losing the vaccine race. Its vaccine programs are shadowed by clouds of doubt.
Today I'm instructing my administration to halt funding of the World Health Organization while a review is conducted to assess the World Health Organization's role in severely mismanaging and covering up the spread of the coronavirus.
India is also very well on its way to supply vaccines to China. So far, with China's vaccine Sinopharm and Sinovac, the results have been very patchy with lack of data and transparency. On top of it, the countries who have received Chinese vaccines, like Brazil and Thailand, found the efficacy rates of Chinese vaccines at an abysmal 50%.
have a loan facility with the government of China already approved. Took quite a while to negotiate, a long time, but we settled it. And in there, we can pay for any quantity of Sinopharm vaccines that we require. I've seen all sorts of ridiculous figures in the, I don't know what to call it, the fake social media, that the Sinopharm will cost $150. That's nonsense. The figure I got today, an indicative price, was $15 US for one. And I've asked my people to go and see if we could get that number down.
Speaker, the Ministry of Health has been having bilateral discussions with the government of China since October 2020. And once WHO approval is received for that vaccine made in China, we will follow up that, and we are confident that we would be able to access supplies from that quarter.
The first question I would tell the media to ask, find call member tomorrow and let him show you documentation that he and his government are getting the Sinopharm vaccine for $15 US. You see, I'm certain that he would change his tune and tell you that there's an NDA and a non-disclosure, and in these matters we cannot say, because he knew that that would be the point, because we made the point to y'all that the vaccine Sinopharm was up at 72 US per. Hungary bought theirs at 36 US. If he got his for 15 US, great. But do we believe, call member? Do you? Or would you like to see it, learn it, see the invoice, find the information, and find out how much we really paying? Because it also, there's no procurement regulator. That's a government to government, and it's a medical supply issue. So there's no oversight. Very important. So a lot of information there. I've gone through all of it and I've read it. And I give you this without any emotion. Vaccination is the way to go. We should have been ahead to get our economy rolling. We have failed. But herd immunity of 1 million plus 150,000, 1.15 million people, which includes the 150,000 adults of illegal immigrant status from Venezuela who are here, you cannot leave them out of the equation. We need vaccinations. We need to get it going. To the anti-vaxxers, you all have some points. There have been 1 or 2 issues and so on with all vaccines. There's lots of questions. But there have been more than 1.1 billion people have received various vaccines, and the cases of problems are quite low. Of course, there's your health, and you need to research right through. The Sinopharm vaccine has a 78, I saw in Brazil it was down at 50.2 and so on. They are different numbers. The average accepted scientific number is about 78% efficacy as opposed to the Pfizer at 95%. 78% is better than 0. If the position of our country is that the government has failed, the government is late, we are last in line, and therefore we are unable to get the gold, silver, and bronze medal, and we must settle for the 4th place or 5th place ribbon, then if that is the position, then that is the position that you must understand. And as a citizen, you must understand that you are taking the 4th best. Is it better than nothing? Yes, it is better than nothing. Will it provide us with everything? No, none of them do. So that is the position. And to the media, you should spend your time being more responsible gathering facts, giving our citizens information so that they can decide. Some people might say, I'm not taking no flipping vaccine, none of them. Okay, but that's your choice. And your choice must be made on information and facts, not drama and emotion about the UNC trying to cat spraddle. How can you cat spraddle something that is already cat spraddled? There's no such thing as a double cat spraddle. The PNM has failed. Everybody knew it was vaccination. We have nothing. And if you all are saying that because of the incompetence now, we have to go with the fourth place, well then so be it. So be it. But if it was up to me, and if it was up to the UNC, we consider this country as good as any other country in the world. And we would have gone for the gold medal, the gold and silver medal, and gotten herd immunity that way. With proper procurement, proper involvement, proper utilization of all our assets, public and private sector, and people would not be dead in. We would have eaten our bananas and had soca in carnival, open economy, travel, Olympic preparation, sporting activities, gyms open, restaurants open, concert halls open, dance academies, and everything would have been running had Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC and the intelligent people who are allowed to voice their opinions. So those of you who take some pride that a UNC MP might have a difference in opinion from Anil or Kamla or this, that's how we work. We debate, we discuss, we research, and we come and we convince. We don't browbeat and talk down and shout and talk about whole house down here and sit down and rub up a whole house man leg. We don't do that. We don't have ministers who hope that the bald chin strap wearing man go tell them good morning. We eat bananas proudly, and as we go, I want to let you know, we going and eat banana because we vote on banana. We like banana, and banana is the way to go. Are we becoming a banana republic under Keith Christopher, Bermuda shirt wearing, inviting to Palance in Tobago, irresponsible COVID-19 vaccine frayed in October? Clung Rowley. Ask this man. Run the tune.
If you were eating 2 bananas, you might try to eat 1 for some good reason. Either to make it last longer or to share it with somebody else.
West Side. We are all human beings, but it seems like we jackass the scene. Left foot, right foot, 1 banana. Left foot, right foot, 1 banana. Left foot, right foot, 1 banana. Is 1 banana. Left foot, right foot, 1 banana. Left foot, right foot, 1 banana. Left foot, right foot, 1 banana. Is 1 banana. 1 banana. For we healthcare system in red drama. This second wave deadlier than piranha. Vaccine and mask, no good armor. For we jackass the scene. Can't even go hug and kiss up grandma. No KFC, no bar, no China. Can't go to church or on the savannah. Soon all of we go turn to farmer. Can't even get the yam from Ghana. Ask Rowley. Right foot, 1 banana. Just left foot, right foot, 1 banana. Left foot, right foot, 1 banana. Just 1 banana. Just 1 banana. Is left foot, right foot, 1 banana. Is left foot, right foot, 1 banana. Is left foot, right foot, 1 banana. Is 1 banana. Is 1 banana. Yeah.
But it have virus, but not rampant.
I find you 2 dabs, stupid. Take that.
We got good night. Long show, lots of information. Thank you for viewing. Good night.
The Guardian newspaper attacking the Guyanese government for the Attorney General taking umbrage to an attack by the chairman of CARICOM about the performance of the Guyanese government in its vaccination program from a man, Keith Christopher Rowley, that has overseen the worst vaccination program in the entire globe, the worst COVID-19 fight on the globe. We have the highest death rate after being under state of emergency for 40 days and lockdown for 51 days of total complete lockdown. GDP gone, economy gone, people suffering. Now didnt rates going up, no gas subsidy, you wouldn't be able to drive your car. And Rowley have time to attack Guyana, and Guardian have time to protect Rowley. The Express is also taking umbrage with the leader of the opposition, rather than Keith Christopher Rowley, who gets up in the parliament and fabricates and lies once again on a lady, a former prime minister's health, giving innuendo and insinuating that she had COVID-19 and lies. Rowley is a franco-ment liar. But I'm sorry, I must apologize. I wanted to deal with that this evening, 7:30 p.m., but no, we have a delay. We have a programming change, so I humbly apologize. Tomorrow night, be ready, 7:30 p.m. sharp, douglAR Politics.